We developed the new graph view for InfraNodus, and I can't wait to share it with you. It visualizes any text as a network and shows you the main topical clusters inside, and now you can navigate it in a three-dimensional view. So you can quickly get a visual overview of any content, be it Google search results, how it is in this case, or a PDF document, your own notes, and things like this. And then you can zoom in onto the specific clusters you're interested in, and when you click it, you actually see the statements where they appear. So you can also ask it to just show the filtered statements, so you will only see the statements that belong to this topic. So it becomes a really nice way to navigate and to read through your text. And then based on your selections, you can also generate some interesting insights. For instance, here I have in the analytics panel a new list of latent topical clusters. So it's the topics that are underrepresented in this text. And usually it's really interesting to actually focus your attention on them, because it will help you develop those less represented topics. And when you click on them, you can use this AI module on the right to do anything you want with them. For example, generate an interesting research question based on this selected topic here, or generate an insight that goes beyond the structure of the graph, so it kind of jumps outside the box. Or you can also simply summarize it as well here. Or you can even send it to the chat, so the chat will have it pre-selected here, and then you can interact with only this aspect of your content. So the graph is also a really great way to direct the attention of yourself and of your LLM on the particular interesting concepts and topics you're interested in. And you also have the concept view here that allows you to see a more granular representation of your content. So here you have the actual concepts, and what I like is to really move them around and to kind of see what are the relevant ideas that I'm interested in, that I find. So for example, if I see measure, I click measure, and then I see what else it's connected to. Measure content quality. So that's something I didn't think relates to topical authority. Interesting. I click these terms. I see the exact statement where this content quality emerges. And then if I click on the link button, I can actually see the search result where it appears. So it's really nice because I can find really interesting content this way. And if I just want to only see the filter statements, I simply toggle this button here, and then I see the statements that have the highest concentration of all of these different terms. And they allow me to quickly jump to the content I'm interested in. And if I then want to use these selected statements in order to generate some insights, so for example, measure content quality, now I just want to summarize everything. I can click on the summary button here, or also here, summarize selected, and then the built-in AI module will summarize for me the nodes that I selected that relate to measuring content quality of a website. So that's really interesting because you can use it both to read through the text and explore the text, or also to generate AI insights. And of course, one of my favorite features that I'm always talking about are the content gaps. So these are the topics that are not well connected. And now it has a much better visualization of those gaps. So when you click on the gaps panel here, you can actually see the gaps in the text between the topical clusters that are not so well connected. And when you find the gap you like, for example, between search dynamics and Google Focus, you see they're very far apart from each other. You can simply click here, and then InfraNodus will call an AI module that will generate an interesting research question that is based on this gap. So you can also then read that question, and maybe that will already give you an idea for how you can connect them together. That's very good for research. Or if you're short on time, you can simply click on this button here, and then the InfraNodus AI, based on this graph structure and based on this pre-selected gap that you see here, will generate a response that will try to connect these ideas better together. And if it's something that you like, you can actually save it to your project notes here. So then your project notes becomes like a way to store the most interesting insights and ideas. And this is one of the workflows that people use the most actually with InfraNodus. You know, you generate some ideas using the graph, you select some gaps or concepts or topics, then you generate some ideas with AI. And then when you like something and when you have your own idea, you simply write it down in project notes, and then you can generate new articles from it, blog posts, content strategy, and even products. So this is how all of these works, and the gaps feature, of course, is one of my favorite ones. You can actually also use another mode, like if you don't want to generate a question, you can also use the new Transcend topical gap. And if you click on this little button here, it's actually going to use the mode that you pre-selected. So here it's chat, but if it was Transcend, then it's just going to send the same request to the chat mode, Transcend. So that means jump outside of the graph and then try to generate something that helps you think outside of the box. And so you can also use these little buttons here on the analytics panel to work with the content and topics and concepts that you selected. And one last thing that is really nice is, of course, the discourse structure that now shows you precisely whether your discourse is too focused, biased, or dispersed or diversified. If it's too dispersed, it will help you connect it better. If it's too diversified, then it means it's good actually. And if it's too biased, then it will help you make it more dispersed. And you can click here and then it explains to you how it's calculated. So it's pretty nice. And if you click on advice here, then it's going to tell you, what you can do in order to actually make it more diversified or biased or dispersed. And then one last feature here is the trends panel that shows you how the discourse evolves over time. So you can click the play button and then it shows you how the discourse actually changes and what are the topics that become more important towards the end of it. And because here we have Google search results, it's pretty interesting because it shows you the more we go to the bottom, the more technical this discourse becomes. The more it talks about some specific like research, evidence, and so on. So at the beginning, it's about all these topical authority nodes, but then towards the end it becomes much more technical. So that means that the results that talk about more like the research aspects of this do not show up at the top of Google search results. And now I want to show you a little bit how the interface works here. So I can stop this trends button, go back to the topics mode. So if you're a fan of the 2D mode, which actually can be pretty useful on the concepts view, then you can simply click here, then it will shift to the 2D mode, and then you can see the whole graph on a horizontal plane. And then if you click here, you can actually ask it to show all the nodes like this on this button here. So you can actually see the whole graph, and then next time you load this graph, it will also load in a two-dimensional way. But I like to use the 3D mode because it helps me sort of like navigate the graph and to touch it and to play around with it. But you can always use it also in the 2D mode. And also here you have the zoom in buttons, and here you can download a high resolution image of this graph if you would like to use it later. And this knob here shows you more or less nodes. It automatically usually calculates the optimal number of nodes. And then if you did some selections, and you just want to reset, then you can just click this button here and it resets everything. And also there's a really interesting feature here. Let me switch to the 3D mode. In fact, what I like to do on the concept view is when I see all these concepts and I understand what they're about, I can select the most prominent ones, and then I can hide them from the graph here, and then it recalculates for me to show me what else is hiding under the surface. So that's very interesting because the more I do it, the more latent topics I'm going to explore in this discourse. And you actually have this button here that automatically does it for you. So it kind of slices off the top layer of concepts and then it shows you what's hiding underneath. So once I slice off the most obvious concepts, I see that actually what comes at the top is the keyword optimization cluster, expert coverage, quality study. So if I want to see what this node is about, I can simply read through the statements, or I can ask the AI to summarize it for me and actually tell me what this new emerging topical cluster is about, the one on expert coverage, and that helps me uncover hidden themes in any document. So that is quite interesting. And then you have all the normal adjustments here. So if you would like to play around with them, then you can do this as well. If you would like to try out this tool, you can actually go to keywordgraph.com and then you click on login page, and then you can log in with your existing InfraNodus account. So you shouldn't put your InfraNodus credentials here, but you can just click on this black button and then log in through InfraNodus, or you can also create a new account if you don't have an InfraNodus account. We will be rolling it out to the main version of InfraNodus soon, in a few weeks. So if you want to give your feedback or comments or suggestions, please let us know now, because it's a good time to implement all the features that you would like to see there, and it will be very useful for us and also helpful for you, because you will have the tool that will do the job that you actually wanted to do. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you a really nice new search feature that actually helps you find concepts very easily. If you click here and you start typing, you see what you can find, and then you go to information optimize, for example, and you find exactly that part. So the search feature works really well. And then you also have a really nice top graph synthesis view that allows you to see how all of your graphs actually connect at once. So you can quickly find the contexts that you like here and then jump into them. So for example, if I want to see, let's say this context, but I want to see what it says about stress, I can click stress, click this concept, and then it opens this concept, but exactly in this part. So it kind of helps me navigate through my content in a very interesting way. And then you have the global search here, which is pretty nice because you type in a term And then it shows you everything that relates to this term, which is also pretty cool. So I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think about it. If you have any feedback, let me know. And soon it will be rolled out into the main version. So we're very excited about this, and I will appreciate your feedback. Thank you.